Imagine if I had to do anything difficult in life.
Yeah, that would be catastrophic.
How are we going? How's it looking?
It's looking fine. I think we started already.
I think we should start because I think that there's so much sexual tension between us.
Why start?
I wanted to see if I could,
we've no longer
in a new
started.
record,
We've
get
no
to
longer
the
started.
uncomfortable material. What does that say about me? That doesn't mean I'm homophobic. It may mean I'm gay.
At this point, it might just mean gay. It might just mean.
So please, no letters out there.
Because at this point, you're either gay or 12.
Or 12. Well, I think there's a little
I
bit.
don't see a bar mitzvah in your future, let me just say.
I don't have, not one of my friends talked like that when they were 12. I made $507 at my bar mitzvah. What did you make?
I made at least a couple grand.
Yeah, because mine was
in the 60s.
No, I wish that was the excuse. Mine was ridiculous. Everybody dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Certainly Jews with money dropped the ball. That's why, and of course it didn't mean anything.
Did you have friends who were Jews with money at the time?
No.
Well, there you go.
I think the only
you got to know them to invite them.
The only way to have a really good bar mitzvah would be if you remember the mafia.
Yeah. And then, honest to God, the money
meant nothing.
The money went away, but the thank you notes stayed for a long time.
What do you mean? You collected them in a box?
No, it just took me forever to write them all.
Oh, and you hate that. I mean, you don't like that. Nobody likes it.
It was a source of stress for a long time.
Like how long would you say?
I don't know. Longer, weeks.
A doggy's biting me. I'm not trying to be. Weeks is nothing. Weeks. I just wrote back to Letterman from Christmas 2000 for Homba Bing. You think you're behind?
No, I don't compare myself to you.
Look at these. I wish people could be here because these dogs are actually licking each other's face now.
They're like, get the Andy off me, will you? Get him off me.
See,
get it off.
I work hard. I work hard to bring a positive attitude to the podcast every week.
Which podcast?
Not this one.
No.
I do one on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, people.
Oh, this is good for the mic. I just turned the mic off, by the way, and then turned it back on. I'm in this mode right now where I can't get comfortable and I can't make a nice living. Neither of them.
Wow. What can I do to help?
Here's what you could really do.
Okay.
Get inside my head.
I think I'm as close to anyone.
All right, so find out what's wrong.
Okay.
Is it that I came at 9:07?
No.
Maybe. And I'm looking for you to be angry about, or I'm looking for you not to be. You can't win with me. I'm looking for you to be angry or not be angry.
Well, you pretty much always get not angry.
I know. That's the thing. That's how
you get hello. That's what you get at the door. Or actually, you get probably a hey, man.
Yeah, but I also already got one good man today from you. Good man.
Yes.
Because
you weren't cramming for your movie. You had there was lag time between the end of the movie and the show this week.
I watched an hour. First of all,
because you missed when you didn't watch the last 2 minutes of the Anderson tapes,
or of the
there was a gazunga ending to that movie.
What was the ending? Should I watch it? I don't think I still have the rental.
Yeah, you probably don't. It's expired.
But they do a twist at the end?
Yeah, there's a little twist at the end where everyone has to erase all their tapes because they were part of different investigations that weren't Anderson.
Oh. You mean, wait a second. They were the different investigations named Anderson?
No.
They were all...
No, let's not go back.
They were all taping the Anderson tapes.
On second thought, you did fine. You really got all the meat off the bone.
Well, I was very proud to see that Andy Levy referenced my version of Shallow.
And in what venue?
Twitter. Everyone's talking about it, I guess. Well,
Was that today's show? Yeah.
Isn't that from last week?
Yeah. It is.
And who's the magic white man that people talk about? The show, I block everything.
Except
who's the magic white person?
He was the driver in Green Book.
You mean with the accent that's not from any part of the Bronx I've seen? Okay, we've done that. We've done with that movie.
Yeah,
How was your week in you know what I call it? Mini apples.
Really? As opposed to the Big Apple. That's why
I don't know what I do. But I lost my vape
in
pipe.
the 80s, there was that we called it the mini apple because it was like.
But that's ridiculous. Now it's surpassed. Now it's regular apple.
Wow. How do you not like them apples?
I lost my vape pen. I don't get high from the vape pen.
Okay, so who cares if you lost it?
Yeah, because but I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
In general. So you went there last week. I'm going to be an interviewer now. You ready?
Okay, yes.
And we'll be back. Okay, and welcome back to Comedian Beat, Comic Beat.
Hi. Great to be here.
I hadn't introduced
Chuck.
you yet. I'm Andy Kindler, and as you know, every week I introduce people in the comedy business and find out what's going on. Today, my guest is Josh. So, and fill it in for me. Let's get after it, as Chris Cuomo would say.
Yeah.
So, first of all, cold, not so cold,
Super
snow.
cold, tons of snow.
Oh, was that something you were like, yes,
No.
finally?
No, I was not. I was like, oh, God, I hated this place when it was like this.
And you wouldn't think, if for some reason you're in your mind,
I didn't actually. When I was growing up, I took it pretty much in stride, I have to say. But when I go back now as an adult, especially with bald head, the bald head snow thing is not good. It's a weird feeling. I didn't bring a hat. It's sort of like pinpricks that bleed cold, kind of when they hit your head.
Well, all the heat is stored in the top of your head, they say,
Well, not in my head.
or something. Well, it wants to get out.
Yes, it does.
So if you had tin foil on your,
I grew up in Minnesota. You don't think I've heard the old, the old top of the head heat cone or whatever that is?
I don't know that bit, but I'm looking forward to looking it up afterwards.
Oh, I'm tired of being told that.
Did you know the Peter Allen joke I was referencing today on Twitter?
No, but I saw Peter Allen something come by.
Yeah, Peter. Well, the joke is that a guy, he's a straight guy, and he ends up in the morning in bed with a man somehow. I don't know how it all. I don't do good premises, right?
Right.
So the guy goes, "Well, wait a second. Did I just commit a homosexual act?" And then the guy goes, "Peter Allen commits homosexual acts. You just suck my thing." I don't really know the final thing. In other words, he's saying Peter Allen, who was very known to be very good in bed.
Yeah.
If you were around in the 60s. I can't believe you didn't get that joke, or you were so horrified by it.
I didn't see the joke.
The joke is that it's not my joke.
Okay, I don't even know. Is this Twitter?
No, it's an actual joke.
Okay,
it's a very famous old joke.
Okay, but when did
Famous, not that famous.
When did this come up? Is my question.
I don't remember. Oh, something in relation to Jen Kirkman saying something about the West Hollywood flyover, and I made a joke about it, and then it very quickly got to this territory.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see any of it.
Right, but you have to at least acknowledge that the joke is that the guy goes, "Did I just do something
No, I
gay?"
get the general thing, yes.
And the guy goes, "No, that's not what you did. Was just suck my hoo-hoo." I can't even say these things out loud.
Yeah, it
But I
sounds like
can-
it. No, Peter Allen performs a homosexual act.
Yes.
You just sucked a dick.
That's exactly
Something
it.
like that.
That's exactly it. But unfortunately,
It's sort of like, no, he is Jesus. He thinks he's Jack Nicklaus. That old joke.
I don't know that one. I'll look it up.
Sure.
Okay, does it have anything to do with walking on water?
I think it is. It's more. I think it's a one-iron joke. Might even that be esoteric, a golf joke.
Oh, man, I'll tell you, I do sometimes wish I did grow up Christian and had more Jesus references. And also, because when they round up people, they usually add the Jews to any existing list of people they're rounding up.
Sure. They round up.
And now everybody's saying if you hate...
We're 500 million short. Let's round up.
I'm feeling goofy tonight. I thought today that this would be my best show ever. I was getting all psyched.
Yeah.
But I can't... There's a problem I have.
How do you know it's not?
I don't know
It's
that
still
it's
early.
not.
You know.
I think it's
you
fun
could,
so
You
far.
could ramp up to a moment.
I know what horrible is, and
Okay.
this isn't horrible
Yet.
yet. But I can clearly say, as it stands now, I could be 5 tangents away from emptying out the podcast stadium.
Yes, absolutely. But you're tracking so far, at least.
So far I'm tracking. I'm not going
you're
off.
bouncing. You're a little bouncing around.
Yes.
But you aren't just like running off the cliff with things. Yeah.
None of this stuff.
Right. Nah. Yeah, exactly.
Is that new? Is what new, Andy? Is what new?
Right.
Something that you're seeing in the house? Time goes on, 6, 7, 8, 2 hours. Well, I missed you until I realized.
That was like the worst interview, by the way.
Oh no, it's not. That's right. Okay, so that's right. This is one of the things when I got you know how they do focus groups?
Yeah.
One of the
you
notes
do the
is
unfocused group.
We have unfocused, and one of the notes always is, you never asked questions about the person's trip or the subject you were going to ask about.
Yeah.
So we know it was cold. We know there was snow.
Yes.
We know you weren't at the usual
So
hotel.
far, we've gotten as far as any Minnesotan would get.
And we know you didn't stay at the usual hotel.
No, I did not.
Did that improve your mood?
It really did. It really did a lot. Yeah. No, I did not ever get depressed.
So that's great. That works. So there's a thing where something that could depress you, like for me, I could say to myself, I've been in the same hotel in Minneapolis for the past 27 years now.
Yeah.
That does sound sad.
It gets a little sad.
But it's not, because I think it's only been, in my case, 18 years.
Yeah. No, it's just, there's just a certain vibe there that just because there's nowhere to go. That's one of the things. Like at this hotel, I went down to the bar in the late afternoon and sat with my notebook and ate bar appetizers, just like having that is a nice thing to,
I never do things
to
like
get
that.
out of the room.
That's what normal people do.
It was a perfectly nice room.
The room too.
Yeah.
Well, see, at the old place, we could go down with you order something from the thing, and every room has a microwave.
I'm probably going back there next time.
No,
but I just couldn't see paying for it myself on this trip.
I can't believe you've already had the discussion with yourself that you will go back.
Well, it's my choice. Lewis will pay the exact amount he pays for the place he puts you up to
anywhere
to you. He'll just give you the money.
I like that.
It's a buyout, and then if you want to stay somewhere more expensive, then you make it up, which is, mental. I'm going with Madison, so it's not as depressing with a friend.
Last week you went with Madison?
No, I'm going when I go back there.
Oh, okay. You got me very confused.
And then I don't have to put him up at the nice hotel, too, come to think of it.
What do you mean, you're going to lowball him or something?
Yes.
He doesn't listen to the show.
Not anymore.
So he doesn't know. And how'd the sets go?
The sets were good. It was fun.
Pete Lee
was headlining, and it was good to see him, and he's funny still, and lots of new stuff I hadn't seen, and he's living in L.A., and he's got a girlfriend, and he's happy, so it was a good Pete Lee encounter.
In the movie, he had a wife with him?
He had a wife that soon ended in divorce right after the movie. They did not survive the post-production process.
But it had nothing specifically about the movie.
No, they were trying to save the marriage on that trip.
They looked like they were very happy.
They were for that second.
No kids, though.
No kids.
I would think it would be so easy to be married to Pete Lee. He's focused.
Yeah. Because most comics in general.
They're so easy to be around. They're not self-centered.
Exactly. That was fun. And I had to get some photos done because they needed them for the album ASAP.
Oh, for the album. Oh,
What?
I know. You and Susan were supposed to hook up.
No, we're still gonna.
Oh, okay.
No, I would. Susan said you'd come out of retirement to do
it, right? So I thought you were okay.
I mean, I just needed some pictures.
Don't say retirement.
I didn't want to put the pressure on Susan.
It's not retirement.
Well, but from headshots
for those things.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying she's retired as a photographer. I'm just saying she told me I don't do that shit anymore, but I'll do it for you.
None of this will make it into the final thing. Now, are you going with the shot of you on the cover?
It's not for the record. It's just for promo.
Oh, what are you going to do?
They just needed 3 headshots, and I didn't have any, so I needed to go grab some different looks.
Now, what are you going to do for the cover of? We don't know.
I don't know
yet,
yet.
Right?
I'll decide.
You know
that
what you
after.
should do? A microphone with a hand
and maybe a brick wall.
And a brick wall.
Yeah. No, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to wait until I hear the album to see what it inspires.
That's the way to go. Or do it like Ricky Gervais does. He names his shows, and then it's going to be a hit. His new show is called Afterlife or something.
Yeah, I might hit up C.J. Wallace with the $500 artwork budget they'll have.
He's good with that. Now, have we heard anything? Have we heard any updates about the movie? Yeah,
I traded messages with him last week, and he was getting back to it. He had some Wiz Khalifa business to take care of.
He's unbelievable. I don't know how he has the energy to do these things. But he's younger than us, even though
young and he's
I can't
hungry.
use me.
Hungry, not literally hungry. I think he eats fine, but
he's a skinny man. He doesn't he doesn't pack it away. I worry about him sometimes.
But he still has ambition in life, and unlike certain people in this room.
What?
Like us.
Oh, I thought...
I wasn't. It was,
oh, my
I wasn't
God.
pointing a finger.
That was a rare... Look at those two. Now, I'm sorry, but those two dogs, people would pay money for that kind of a shot, I would think, right? They couldn't be more cute. And I'm just not going to even say... I love this so much that I'm not going to even ruin it. Oh, these doggies. Unbelievable.
These dogs, da-da-da-da-da.
But these dogs have never seen... Now, Jim Neighbors, is he alive?
No, he's not.
But recently deceased, right? Maybe in the last year?
Last 5 years, let's go.
Did we talk about how the in memoriam wasn't as star-packed as we'd like?
Yeah. So I got some photos done with my friend Steve Cohn, who's like a rock photographer, another photographer in Minneapolis who I've known since I was literally like 4 years old.
I never met him. You'd think at some point.
You'd think.
Right.
I try to protect some people from you. So that was fun. It was fun to get to hang with him for the day.
What's he doing? So is he still, like I sound like a Jew, his house is photography?
What was amazing is that, like, his father and my father were den mothers for my brother's Cub Scout troop.
Why would they call them den mothers?
Because that's the role.
They don't call them
and
that.
Then they embraced,
And then later on.
They jokingly embraced the name when it was two men doing it. But generally it's a woman's role in Cub Scouts, and then men's lead Boy Scout troop.
Everything's all different now.
It's all a different ballgame now. So, but it was striking to me how much both Steve and I look exactly like our father.
That's weird. I don't think I know what your dad looks like.
I'll show you some of the pictures at break.
People were asking, I don't know if they've been emailing you about this, but they're wondering, what's the break like? Whether do you go outside for the break? Is there crudité? Do you get a massage sometimes?
Often we don't move.
We don't move.
And sometimes we continue to talk into the mic, just more candidly.
We talk.
We name all the names during the break.
I found a pizza place I really like. I don't know if I should say it or Napoli's Kitchen.
What's that?
Napoli's Kitchen.
Why are you whispering?
Just because I don't want anybody coming anywhere near me. It's very good.
Is it very nearby?
It's not far. It's like in Burbank or somewhere.
And so you're worried about putting the beat on you from a pizza place in Burbank?
It might not be Burbank, though. It could be Panorama City on Lion.
Okay. All right.
But I couldn't believe it. It had like a sweetness to the tomatoes. Have you eaten there?
No.
Napoli?
Never heard of it.
And we're brought to you by Napoli's Kitchen. Hey, do you like cavoli? And do you like Italian food?
Someone referenced, Bill Corbett from Mystery Science Theater referenced a local TV commercial that Trace and I did in 1988 for pizza and pasta.
In Minnesota?
Yeah, in character, as from Mystery Science Theater.
Wow. That would be a collector's item. I'm not sure what I'm saying even would be a collector's item.
It's collected on YouTube.
Oh.
Yes.
Was there a jingle involved?
No, it was just this improvised commercial that we did because they were a sponsor.
I bet that was funny. You have no memory of it, probably. You just saw it.
I just saw it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Where's it on? You got it on?
Maybe that'll be the break. How about that?
Oh, God. I would like that.
Okay, there you go.
I would like that because normally during the break, and I don't think people know this, you say to me, don't look at me. It's enough already during the show. Have I slowed down listening to the true crime? No, not at all. No. And I have nothing to report even.
No, just people keep dying.
Well, no, there's two.
On your watch.
Two of the murder stories involve people. One was a serial killer who was the expert in their field.
Yeah.
That is always crazy to me. They were a journalist writing about, and then another time was the fire expert who started all those fires out by the thing.
Yeah.
And I thought, it made me feel like now I'm an expert. Like that could be something I bring up at a party. And Dateline. That's all I watch is Datelines.
I still have more Minnesota stuff, really.
Okay.
As you're talking and I'm not interested, I keep thinking of more stuff.
Here's what I think you should do. The one thing you could do is you could occasionally overlook my rudeness and just hop back in.
See, that's what I just did.
Yeah. So what else happened?
I don't want to talk about Dateline.
Neither did I. I don't know how I got into
You
Dateline.
can't even describe it well to me.
I didn't even know how I got in there. So what else happened?
Lewis went into the hospital. He had a breathing thing, so I spent 2 hours at the hospital visiting Lewis.
Oh, no.
He's fine now. He's okay.
What was it?
I don't know exactly, but he's better.
But it's always better. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's nothing horrible. It wasn't a heart thing, so. And there was one more. I think I'm waiting to hear back from the record company, but I think I may change my plan and record during the week my album.
Oh.
Two nights during the week instead of Saturday night, both shows.
And what's your reasoning?
Cooler crowd, I think. More comedy crowd. Less random, drunk, just out for the weekend people.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Thursday would be the best night.
I'm probably going to do Wednesday, Thursday, because Lewis said he would they do a thing called Acme Insider Night.
Oh.
Which is all mailing list people. They give, like once a month.
That would be perfect.
And it's all.
You want seasoned comedy goers.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that it's going to schedule-wise with the record company. I mean, Saturday will be fine, and I'll just encourage more of my people to come out. But
I think you're right, though, in general.
The other thing is it gives me a day between shows in case I do something radically incorrect the first show.
Oh, you weren't even thinking about doing 2 nights?
I was just going to do 2 shows in one night.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean the only problem would be the consistency of the sound, but I'm sure
they're pros.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
How did you feel in terms of developing material in Minneapolis this week?
It wasn't, you always hope you'll have
too much pressure.
Yeah, it wasn't too much pressure, but you always hope you'll have sort of the whale of a.
I thought that was only me
hall,
who goes up and goes,
everyone does.
I'm going to work on my screenplay all week.
But I did, I got plenty of things. I had 2 missions. One was to get some new stuff done, which I did, not as much as I wanted. And the other was to take out some bits that I usually only do when I'm headlining that I don't do in short sets usually. Just to get them out of my mouth.
Oh, so you won't go into them?
Huh?
I don't know what I'm saying.
No.
Why? You mean take them out?
No, I mean take them out and do them.
Oh, do them because you're going to do them. Are you going to do them on?
Yeah, because I'm headlining for the album.
I got it. Okay,
it's
right.
they're bits that they're longer or whatever that I don't usually do in 10-minute sets in L.A.
Yeah, so you're not doing the Louis C.K.
I wanted to get a chance to do them. So that it wasn't the first time in months I had done them,
And you're good. I can't tell stories. You can flesh them out. You flesh them out, okay?
Yeah.
I can't flesh them out.
You're not a flesher. You're not.
I forget the
details.
details.
Not a big flesher. No.
That's all. Everything I say about myself is nonsense. But what was I going to say? Yeah. So you're not doing a Louis C.K. It's all new material. It's all nothing. You've never said anything before. Nothing in this special is before the night of the special. It's not like one of those things. But no one will have. You don't have any albums out. I just realized.
I don't have any albums out.
So what am I worried about burning?
This is my first piece of product.
I don't have to worry about it.
Ever.
Don't worry about burning material.
32 years, my first piece of product.
Well, that's not true because don't forget the thing.
You know why? Because no one ever asked.
Does that mean that? But wait a second. Do I get some kind of any kind of ownership of the idea? Not ownership, money-wise.
Making comedy albums?
Well,
yeah, you're a real fucking pioneer.
Didn't you say I encourage? You weren't thinking about it, and I said like out of the blue, like it came from God. Josh, I got it. Oh, I never saw this Clyde doing a thing where rubbing. What is that called?
Rolling on his back.
All right, look. It's obvious that I'm teetering. I'm teetering on relevancy. Oh, any new restaurants that you went up there to?
No. I went to the Market Barbecue's new location, which I was happy with. They recreated both the ambiance and the food.
And I don't think I was that. I went there, right?
You did, yeah.
But I have no memory of it, so.
You loved it.
But you told me you go to this place fulfills a sentimental thing too, right?
Absolutely.
So how can other people enjoy it? Like a second reality? All right, let's forget. Hope I get better. I get better than that last 7 seconds. But no Black Sheep? Nothing?
Didn't do, no, Pete and I had Pizza Luce delivered to Acme late night one night while we were sitting there drinking and talking.
And did you hang out on the Saturday?
No, I left Saturday.
Oh, and I imagine you wouldn't have hung out.
No.
Did you have something to do to get back in town?
No, I just wanted to get back in town just because it wasn't, at a certain point, it's still just 10-minute sets or, I was slopping into 12 or whatever, but, I got all the information I needed and then,
Was it just
usually
you and Pete?
Saturday is such a long, wait for the show to start kind of day anyway. I was like, let's take that out of the equation. Save a couple $100 on hotel. And it felt gluttonous to guest set the whole weekend too, because those shows get, Everyone has to cut down time then. I didn't want.
They start on Tuesday?
Yeah.
They're the only club who does that anymore, probably, right?
Are they?
Well, no, one of the few. I mean,
you would know better than me.
And I always love going there, so it's not like I'm. The ones I used to go to that were 6 nights a week or 7 nights a week, they weren't usually. They were more factory oriented. Right. You know, you really felt like you were locked into a thing. I don't know what's the matter with me. Give me some cocaine. What happened to me? I had some notes. I wrote some notes down. About
Good.
The week.
I think those would help you.
Yeah, I would. Well, something, right?
Ever since I said you aren't going off the rails.
I'm going away. I didn't realize I was going away this weekend. Well, 2 things I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I almost got a part on baskets, but then I didn't get it. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't like at least I didn't blow the audition this time.
Oh, so it was like, we might need you, and then we don't?
Yeah. So they might need me, and then they don't. Okay. So I'm going to.
That's better than come read, and then they don't.
And I would hope that they wouldn't have me read, because I've been friends with Zach. Right. And I don't think he's.
They know what they're getting or not.
They know that. Yes, exactly. What are they hoping? Are they hoping it's going to be much improved? So that was supposed to happen Thursday. And it's not going to happen, but I'm flying to Aurora, Illinois on Friday. I'm playing a club called the Comedy Shrine, which I've been before, too. So
that's
it would have been
this Friday real time, not
this Friday real time. So it would have been nice to have promoted this.
It would have been good, but how much would it have helped, really, in Aurora, Illinois?
Well, I was on the majority report last Friday.
If that disappoints people in Illinois. In podcast actual thing, this Saturday night, the 16th, I'll be at North in Chicago.
Wait a second. They can't hear this either, though.
No, they can. I'm talking about,
Oh, a real thing.
Yes.
Forget Andy's gig that you can't go back in time.
No time machine involved for my gig is what I'm saying.
So in the way you're saying you're better than me.
Do I have to do it in a way?
I like that we're better than this. I liked Elijah Cummings' speech at the end of that thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't even remember what that was now. It was Andrew D. Cohn, Michael D. Cohn, Esquire.
Yes.
That was great when he went and testified. I know there's no reason to talk about Trump, but it does feel like does it feel like it's like this? It was really a lot
like the speech at the end of Bonfire of the Vanities. Now that I think of it,
what's that?
that Morgan Freeman did at the end of the Bonfire.
Another movie I should
Be
have seen.
decent to each other, But yeah, it was quite a spectacle.
That last thing he did at the CPAC. This CPAC organization seems like an organization of just horrible racists, bigots. There's nothing I can't think of one thing that's ever happened from there. Why would I think there was something?
It's like Fox News on ice.
And they're so mean.
It's the Foxcapades.
What's that?
It's the Foxcapades.
And so, I don't know. I do have a general feeling of like nervousness, but I do think it's going to end soon, but I don't know if it's going to end soon.
It's not going to end soon.
Yeah, it's not?
No.
So I've always been wrong about that because it always felt impending.
Well, I mean,
it feels like any week.
It's going to be a slow motion shit hitting the fan sort of thing. It's not going to he's not going to quit, if that's what you think.
I'm hoping. I never have this.
And if there's some sort of thing to remove him from office, that's going to take a really long time. The best hope at this point is it's less than 2 years to the end of the term. I don't think they get him out of office much before they get him out of before he could get voted out of office.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's
the best hope is that all the shit comes as he's campaigning for office,
right?
And it's hard to refute, even for the most steadfast party member
of the. Because his approval went up this week or something.
Who gives a shit?
I love when the media, you can sense them just getting a little excited about getting back into the horse race again.
To me, it's, what I realize? It's like the percentage of people who can still back Trump, like Trump's appeal, the fact that many people fall for Trump's appeal tells me exactly why I have no appeal.
Well, it's not either or. They could love you too. No, there's no explaining the Trump like when people say he's a master showman and all. It's all garbage. He's like the worst performer. I don't know why he resonates with people. It's not because he's skilled at it. I mean, he is skilled at it, if you want to call that a skill. But he's a terrible performer. He speaks. He's no Mussolini even.
No.
So I'm always surprised, but I know people have loved him for a long time because Susan and I were in Vegas and we marveled years ago at people, just the kind of, they had always had a following of some kind.
Yeah.
Of people just think she's like, yeah, that's what
I would be like.
That's what I would. Yeah, bring me some champagne. I don't know. That's not a good impression. So what else?
You just don't. You don't seem to really have the ability to want to talk about anything today. What happened? What happened over the weekend?
That's what I was trying to think of. Why can't I focus on what? Didn't I have a week without you? Was it just did I go home on last Monday night and just sleep in? I haven't done a gig in a long time. Okay, here's what I'm doing. It sounds mundane, but for a long time, I couldn't do this one thing I'm supposed to do for my taxes. Like Susan does the bulk of the work. I'm supposed to do this one thing. And all it is it's logging it in to like you would when you write out a check, kind of, right? Mm-hmm. So I let this go.
Is this like QuickBooks kind of thing?
She does the QuickBooks.
Okay, you just literally just putting it in the check register?
Don't say it like that because it makes it sound worse. That I haven't been. So, did you see when that guy is his name Yashir Ali when he was talking about having OCD?
He was talking about ADD.
ADD, right?
Yeah.
And because I told my therapist about it, and I said, "Oh," and she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm not surprised that a lot of people on Twitter have ADD."
Exactly.
But he talked about these things that he literally couldn't start.
Right.
These projects. So I have had this thing where I had 14 months of stuff that I basically put in an envelope that I should have been putting into a register.
Okay.
And I started to become paralyzed.
Right.
And and here's the way I would get paralyzed. I would sit down and I go, "Oh, I can't believe it." Susan volunteered to help me. But I kept, so I said, it's like, I can't believe that I'm never going to, and then if I start that, what about the album? If you start that, this is what I said to myself, are you telling me, Andy, that the taxes are more important than your album that you haven't come out with in 4 years? So what I finally decided was, I can't solve this with my mind. The only way I can do it is to make a decision and to do it. And so I made the decision and I'm almost done with the task of 14 months. But it was like, it cleared my whole head because it's tax time for most people.
Right.
But now I can remember when I made this here and I made that, I kind of like enveloped in these envelopes all the information about the last 12 months, and Susan couldn't do anything because I wasn't providing her with anything.
Right.
And so I am proud of myself, really proud of myself. On the other hand, and then I did my business taxes. If you live in LA, and I'm sure, I don't know, do you do this?
I don't know. Finish what you're going to say.
Right, I'll tell you. I have a feeling this is something LA business, you fill out your taxes. I forgot, you have a business person.
Yes.
Why don't I punch myself in the face? All right. So, there's a thing where if you make up to $300,000, if you make under $300,000,
yeah,
in creative pursuits, which I think we can all agree that neither of us usually make that much. Oh, so that's right. You made that. Are you telling me you routinely made that for a long time? Probably.
Well,
close.
No, I routinely made that for a long time. Yes.
You're supposed to soft sell it.
I wasn't really planning on discussing my income, but
you're supposed to be, when these discussions happen, you're supposed to act like you're a schmuck with no money, even if you have money.
Now I am, basically. It's just cash flow at this point.
Right. So the thing is, if you make less than 300,000, you have to pay taxes on anything. Even having someone pay taxes because they live in the city of LA and they're a writer or they're a comedian, to me is a little bogus. Like even my accountant says it's even a gray area, but obviously I don't want to, I comply every year. But if you don't fill it out by February 28th of every year, you have to pay the tax.
Right.
So like 2 years ago, I had to pay $800 in tax because if you don't fill it out by the date, you don't get the thing. So I filled that out on time, and I'm almost done with my checkbook, and I feel like a new person, but I still don't quite understand.
It's called the franchise tax, right?
What's that?
That's the tax. The $800 is the franchise tax.
Or they call it a business. It's like renewing your business license.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't call it a franchise tax. Were you trying to one-up me there or just confuse me? I don't think you were trying to one-up me.
I was just trying to get on the same page, but unfortunately, but it's a tax form, so we can get off of it.
Right. So I feel a lot better, and the thing is,
I'll probably take out the part about my income anyway.
Why? That's not. Oh, that's all. Everything is your call. Well, I even talked to you about it. It's all very entertaining to me. So I want to fight for you keeping in everything we've said, especially the part about your penis size, scuba gear.
I have to say, it grew a little when I told you how much money I made.
I like bassoon playing. No, they're not all gold when you do those bumps. Chicken. So, now, I know a lot of people out there are so now what's the next thing I'm going to do? I'm doing this in a way that I think is going to allow me to do these things. Now, mind you, I've also forced myself to return important emails that I was, my brother said, please talk to this person, and I'm dropping the ball. These are things that no one should drop anyway, and I'm taking credit for it.
So you're getting a little momentum.
A little momentum going.
That's a
and
good
the next thing is going to be the album.
Getting shit done does beget getting more shit done, I find.
Is that true?
Yeah. Thus the momentum comment I just made.
Well, that's when Yashir was talking about his ADD, that these things that he can't start, are so. I got the feeling like if you explain them, they sound ridiculous. So it's almost that doesn't excuse it, but I didn't realize these things do become bigger problems, and I do start to feel paralyzed for no reason. I mean, for a reason, but I'm not sure what the reason is. Actually,
I totally get that all the time. I have also always have something I'm paralyzed about, basically.
Do you always have something that you've let gone too long?
I never let it go to the point where I'm in trouble.
Right. Because
I'm more afraid of being in trouble than I am of doing a thing. But not much. It's last minuteism for me always. But there's some shit that, that's why I started on Adderall, was to get over those humps, and it helps for that.
Yeah.
And I kind of, it's like when I have to do a task like that, it's like, all right, I'm taking an Adderall, and sometime in the next half hour, I'm going to start, and then hopefully I won't notice the Adderall kick in, and I'll stay on it for a while,
Because what is your mind? Okay. What is it? There are people who, the thing I liked about what he was saying was like, not that it's, we want to one-up people with your condition, but the thing is that this thing is real, and it makes me more curious about what it is that is going on. It's not that, it's like, there's nothing inherently hard about doing the checkbook, but there's this thing.
Well, it's not fun.
It's not fun.
That's the most basic thing.
Okay, so you know how
it's not fun. It's not interesting. It's only stress-inducing because it's money going out, I
think the difference was I was able, because also it's hard when you live with somebody and you're both home all the time. It's hard to be yourself. We both feel this way. It's hard to be yourself because you feel like you're being looked at. So I told Susan, what's that?
I don't relate to that.
Oh, okay. Well, No, that's our particular problem.
Yeah, no,
that's me.
Allison
I'm not saying
and I are home a
all.
lot together at the same time, but I'm particularly happy that I can always be myself in front of Allison.
Right. I shouldn't have said it like, you know how it is, you know, you're a guy. I wasn't doing a defending the caveman thing.
All right.
So that's, I think what you're talking about is a gift in a way. Because, well, the thing is,
I was specifically using that as a key to my marriage to someone in conversation last week about, you know,
yeah,
the greatest thing is that we both feel like we can completely be ourselves, you know.
So with me, it's like I procrastinate and I'm afraid to tell. And so then I think it's that if I'm hiding information from Susan because I want to tell her in the right way that I'm winning or something. It's just like just ridiculous. All I do is I continue to dig my own hole all the time but then once I told her, because she's like, she can't move forward unless I move forward. So when I told her this is what I'm going to do, and she could then say, oh, I really think this is going to happen. Then I was able to like put on all my crime things. And then I was able to put on stuff. Some of those things I can put on, and it makes everything fun for me, even the numbers. I watch, listen to podcasts, or I watch things on Investigation Discovery, things like the Center of Evil, Evil in Plain Sight, Diabolical.
Did someone say murder?
Hear me. I will admit that the names start to bleed together.
Yeah.
And so I can't say I'm a fan of In Plain Sight.
Right.
In Plain Sight is pretty good. It's all these things that happen and the person gets killed kind of in plain sight.
I prefer Just Around the Corner.
That's a good one. Then there's ones that are just identified by the field. Coroner.
Uh-huh.
You know what you expect there.
Yeah.
Then you got Paul. Then you always have to go, why am I interested in that Paul Azan is hosting it? Why am I?
I don't know.
Right. That's the problem with a Paul Azan show.
Sure.
Because I like Lester Holt. I enjoy his news, but I don't watch the Datelines because Lester Holt is going to sum it up for me.
Right.
I watch it because I'm dead inside.
Right.
No, I happen to love the structure. See, to me, I didn't realize before I started watching Dateline that you could watch something that wasn't Law and Order. Because Law and Order, I knew you could watch stuff, but Law and Order is so terrible, and it's fiction. So it's like constructed fiction.
Right. Constructed like a Dateline.
But the Dateline's real. That's the thing.
Right. And the Law and Order is based on a Dateline.
No, they say that all the time. It's all garbage. Don't even, you know what? I refuse to have this conversation. Don't even say Law and Order but I like Mariska Hargitay though, so that's a whole different thing.
It is.
I like Belzer.
Yeah.
And I liked the guy who died
That's great, babe.
And Dirty Dancing he was in, the guy who died. Jerry Orbach. I guess I liked it when
you went with Dirty Dancing for Jerry Orbach's career.
And Crimes and Misdemeanors.
Yeah. What did I just see him in that I hadn't seen since I was a kid? The other night Brewster's Millions was on.
I've never seen that.
It's not very good, but he's in it, and John Candy is funny in it. And
is it about a rich man's money?
It's Richard Pryor inherits his rich, crazy uncle dies. He's like a washed up minor league baseball player. And his crazy uncle leaves him $30 million, but he has to spend $30 million in a month in order to inherit $300 million. But he can't have anything of value at the end. There's all these rules where he has to spend it all. So he'll be sick of spending money by the end.
I see. And he'll learn.
And he can't tell anybody he's doing this.
Oh.
So he has to look crazy while he's doing it, essentially, to all the people around him. So it's not that good a movie, but it was fun to see it because I saw it a bunch when I was a kid on cable.
And that's Richard Pryor and who else?
And John Candy.
No, is Gene Wilder in it? No, it's a whole different.
But Jerry Orbach was, which is what made me.
I wish I'd seen more. I don't know. I love John Candy, but I don't think I saw Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Which was a beautiful performance.
That was nice. And I can't think of anything. I think I've not seen any of these Saturday Night Live movies, or most of them.
Well, he wasn't in many of the Saturday Night Live
No, but
movies.
I went past him. I was already discarding him and going on my I had the tangent police were here.
He was great in Splash. He was great in Stripes.
Yes, Stripes.
He was great in like Summer Rental. I thought was pretty good. He was really funny. He was really awesome. And then and then the SCTV work was all gold.
I have to say that the SCTV stuff and Kids in the Hall, but SCTV more for me because I love Kids in the Hall, but SCTV was more like my generation.
Yeah.
Was it my generation? Kind of.
Yeah.
How could I be this old? Why did it happen this way? And why am I hanging around with you? You're like 20 years younger than me. Where are the people of my generation who made me? Oh, I didn't make it, or it wasn't successful, is what you're saying. Oh, okay. I get it. No, but this is what I was telling you the other week that's starting to bother me. Not bother me, but for a narcissistic person to realize, no, Andy, the seminal thing in everyone's life is not Woodstock because they were 12.
Right, or not born in my case.
What's that?
Or not born.
Not born,
Yes.
right? It's not when the Beatles broke up. It's like to me, I remember clearly when Saturday Night Live started, so that was definitely my generation.
Right. And I watched it as a very little kid.
Yes.
I begged to stay up to, it was Saturday Night Live was important to me, but I realize now, in my memory, I watched it sort of from the beginning, but I was watching reruns in the late 70s of the early shows.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, that makes sense.
So I probably wasn't really paying attention till 77 or 78, but saw all those early shows because they got rerun each week and didn't have any idea I wasn't seeing,
And would you say, I
remember noticing when Chevy Chase was there or not.
Or not there, yeah. But I would say I haven't seen a whole lot of years, and I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't seen a whole lot of the years that were bad. I've seen nothing.
I've seen, I have to say I've ended up watching the vast majority. There was years when I was doing stand up where I didn't watch it. But
yes.
But even then I would often VCR it.
As soon as I
did a lot of taping and watching.
I feel bad that when I wanted to become a musician, then later, not so much with comedy, more it was hard for me to watch it while I was doing it, and it shouldn't have been.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But Saturday Night Live the original not for primetime players were my first real comedy heroes.
Yes, so we did share it. We shared
Belushi
it.
specifically, but John Candy too. As a fat kid, you don't have that many people to identify with, and so Candy and Belushi were like, okay, I can see that. From here.
Wow. I mean, I know it sounds like a cliche to say it, but I never even thought of Belushi's size that much, or even Candy's size. I know John Candy got sick later on, right? Or no? Was he sick?
He died. Yeah.
All right, I'm not good with these kind of discussions. Obviously, I got to bring more facts to the table. But when I first watched SCTV, I saw that in a half-hour package that was on after Saturday Night Live. Yeah, and that's how I first got. So in a lot of ways, like Martin Short, I don't even distinguish them between. Well, I think I was always when I could watch SCTV and ingest it, I was this is clearly a better show, but it's a little bit ridiculous because they obviously didn't do it live every week. They spent more time on the bits.
It was packaged. It was syndicated from Canada at that point. But it was, it took me a lot longer to get to SCTV because I remember being on when I was a kid and I would kind of watch it, but it was so late for me that, and the production value dropped off from SNL. And that mattered to me when I was a kid.
That makes sense.
I remember seeing Doctor Who as a kid going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I'm not watching this shit.
Do you like it now?
No, I still have never watched a full episode of Doctor Who because I made a decision when I was 5.
Yes. Yeah. I saw it when I was an adult because it was like at Matt Weinhold's house.
Yeah.
Because it was like a campy thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it then either.
Yeah, I've just never had a real sci-fi patience. But, which, as a Mystery Science Theater guy, isn't that cool to say, but.
Right.
But SCTV later on became really formative. But like I said, I mean, the SNL people were really my first comedy heroes.
Yeah, and then Steve Martin and
and to me, he was part of them.
He was part of them, right? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly, because they would be.
That was my most exposure to Steve Martin, was on that show.
Now, but now, like, I liked Wayne's World, but I wasn't like super. Actually, I think there was a time when I loved Mike Myers, not so much now, but I loved him for a little while, maybe.
I was certainly buying in.
Yeah.
I tired of it, but I thought Wayne's World, the first Wayne's World was good,
great.
and I thought the first Austin Powers was funny enough.
Yes, it was.
But then he just sort of started eating himself.
Right.
Everything just started
cannibalizing himself.
Yeah.
I always loved Carvey because I'd seen him early on and I thought he was great. But I don't know where I'm going with this. But I was gonna say the stuff on SCTV that really resonated, I felt like it was made for me, and even though it wasn't, it was like Eugene Levy's stand-up guy.
Yeah, I didn't get as a young kid, I didn't get the subtleties of it. I just didn't.
But the guy comes out, how are you? I mean, all that, and they were just the amazing amount. Again, like on the per capita basis, of there's almost as many funny Canadians as are Americans. I know that's not true, probably, but it's a lot of them.
Yeah, I'd hate to venture a guess like you.
Like I did.
Yeah.
Well, because you're not a man. I shoot from the hip. I'm like Trump.
Right. You go to Canada just to insult people once a year.
No, I go there, and I really do feel like it's an escape hatch at one point. We may need to go.
Yeah.
Underground Railroad. I'll Underground Railroad you up there.
Into the festival.
I'm reading a book about Kids in the Hall that's written by Paul Myers.
I know. I have it. I gave it to you.
Did you give me that book? You idiot. Why didn't you sign it like a famous person? And it's a good book.
Yeah.
So I love reading about, maybe that's why I'm talking about this. It's fresh in my mind, but those guys are younger than me.
Yes, they are.
One of them was 59. I was like, all right, okay. Welcome to Daddy's
You're
birth.
in my gravitational pull now.
Yeah. But maybe I love to read about like the Toronto scene and because I used to work up, it's like weird. I didn't know when I was working up in Yuck Yucks in the late 80s and early 90s, it was such a hacky gigs I was on because it was Yuck Yucks. Back then was all that one guy's gig and
with Breslin.
Mark Breslin, and they were like, I mean, I loved playing them and I met great people, but I didn't realize how it really kind of makes you feel like lucky when you're reading a book about the Toronto scene or I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm the new Flip. What's the guy's name? Flip Orley? No. I'm the new Cliff. I want to be the next Cliff Nesteroff.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to wait till he's done.
Well, that was pretty good there. How long do you think it has been since I was looking around like I'd been knocked out and came to, where you had to say, how was your weekend?
It was 3 days ago.
It was pretty good though, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready to dive into the movie?
Oh, yeah.
But you don't seem that ready to dive in.
No, I'm ready.
Okay, this movie, I mean, I don't want to take this long. I mean, all I kept thinking about, this is a cinematic Titanic movie in a way.
Absolutely it is. I would love to do this. If there was a way to clear it, I would have loved to have done it because it is a total B movie.
I mean, sometimes I thought, are they making fun of it? And I don't know that they were.
No, they were playing it as straight as they could, I thought.
Yeah.
It's, but it's one of those movies where they spent all their money on the cast.
It looked pretty good. I liked the way it opened. It looked good for a while, but then I stopped.
It looked like a TV movie, though.
Yeah, it did.
It really did. And it's the same guy who directed like Patton, which also had that sort of same kind of TV movie episodic feel to it.
Except for that I always remember that big thing where he's on a big stage or.
Well, but it's just a flag behind him.
When you're right. When you're right, you're right. Maybe I'm thinking of the Great Santini's.
It's the one image you remember from the movie, and it's just a guy in front of a flag. Come on.
It seemed Robert Altman-like to me when I first saw it.
Yeah.
He's French.
Patton's a good movie, but it's just, he's not the guy, he's not he's not a cinematic storyteller. It's very by the numbers, everything he just shoots.
Except this, all of a sudden, I thought I was crazy watching this. That he adds a supernatural thing to make us more scared of Mengele. Like, Patton's at least the real story. It's good. I love Patton. Why was he... Isn't he gilding the lily, making up all these things about Mengele, or am I reading too much? Was it supposed to be a madcap romp?
It couldn't quite find its tone. I think they were trying to punch above their weight class in terms of its gravitas.
Yes. Subject matter.
Gregory Peck as Dr. Mengele is a weird choice. It's like the ear, nose, and throat performances. There's Gregory Peck down here in his throat, and then there's James Mason up here. I'm ending the program. You will not end the program. I'm ending you. You are ending the program right now. What about Lieberman, the Jew? That impotent Jew will not stop me.
Every time he would, as Mengele, say Jew, I just loved it. It seems so corny to me. Yeah. You round up those stupid Jews.
That impotent Jew. And then, and then Olivier's way up here.
What was he? Now, I've never heard anybody get to the different parts of the body that you're generating the voice from. James Mason. So, like, if I think James Mason.
Andy, you're doing a very poor James Mason.
Well,
you're doing an extremely bad James Mason.
Andy?
I'm ending the program.
I'm ending. See, I can't do it. What am I missing from it?
It's in the back of the palate.
Forget it. You said palate. Yeah. You eliminate me. You start using words like palate or technique or ability.
It's like a bubble of poison in your lungs.
Well,
and
so Laurence Olivier, he looked lost sometimes during them.
His performance was the best of anyone's, at least.
Yeah, because he's
only a couple years out of Marathon Man, so he still had that German thing going.
I just felt like he was ready. Would there have been a movie there? He was ready to go.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I bought him as a Nazi hunter, but Gregory Peck, what the heck was that? Is Mengele like
Joseph Mengele?
Mengele was a B movie star.
Yeah.
I never saw Gregory Peck like that, though. It's not his fault, though. I don't think.
No, but I did a little bit of reading afterwards, and apparently he was fairly defensive about it. Because it was like the only villain he ever played, really.
Really? Oh, man.
Unless you count like Captain Ahab.
Oh, yeah. And it's tough. If the only villain you play is Mengele, that's like going zero to Nazi.
Yes, it is.
But here's the thing that I was like, I don't understand. I was talking with Susan about, I don't understand. How did their eyes remain fake blue like that? From dye?
Contact lenses?
No. That's not what they were supposed to have done.
Oh, you mean in the
movie?
The subject of the kids? Well, first, I think, if you've never seen the movie, the basic plot is Joseph Mengele is hiding in Uruguay, and he's creating this race of...
Paraguay.
Sorry. And he's created...
No, I think it is Uruguay. I'm sorry.
I thought it was Uruguay.
I apologize for being an idiot.
And he has this grand plot where he's basically cloned Hitler, placed the babies with these families that had dynamics exactly like Adolf Hitler, and now that the fathers of these adopted Hitlers are reaching age 65, he sends out assassination squads to kill them all because Hitler's father died at 65. So he's trying to create the exact same childhood. Of course, there's holes.
I don't even see what you're putting it in that could have holes now. I don't understand the vehicle still.
So, it's a whole nature versus nurture sort of argument going on here. Hitler, of course, also fought in World War I, which is going to be hard to recreate for him, and had a mustard gas accident,
Well, how would that come into factor in this, though?
I'm just saying, if he's planning on getting Hitler to dictator age...
Right.
How is he going to get all those kids to go through a world war?
Oh, I thought we were in
that shaping experience.
Aren't we in a parallel universe? And you're not saying that they have gone through the same experiences, Are we?
Well, that's the whole point. Is he's trying to raise a kid with a father who's 20 years older than his mother.
Oh yeah.
The mother spoils the child.
Oh God.
The father is a civil servant and then dies at 65. So he's literally hiring people to go out and kill. He's placed these kids with these families. He's now hiring a Nazi death squad to go out and hit these men when they hit 65 so that the Hitler kids will have the same formative experiences as Hitler.
You know, the thing about it is...
You didn't watch.
No, I did watch it. But the thing about it is, like, all of these things that they were doing to further...
He's basically just hoping to grow one Hitler out of all these kids.
Okay. Here's the thing. Was he a geneticist? Is that mean?
Yes.
Right? So there was.
Yes.
So there were some, because that was the thing I think that bothered me, was that I get annoyed or get frustrated. I go, or they're gonna really. I don't want to see the Mengele experiments. First of all, what were those operations down the throat of the? What was going? That wasn't pioneering filmmaking, was it?
It was just trying to be scientific, basically.
Right.
They were trying to be clinical, and at a certain point, they were trying to not fake the science.
I see.
You know, they went through that whole exposition thing with the guy who just died, who was in Bruno, what's his face, who was in Wings of Desire, and he was playing that scientist.
Who was the guy who had the curly hair, though? I've seen before. Is it John Rubinstein?
The second Nazi hunter, or Steve Gutenberg at the beginning?
Oh, first of all, you can't gloss over Steve Gutenberg.
As a Nazi hunter.
This is near Diner years, right? Was this right before Diner?
This is probably 3-4 years before Diner.
First of all, he's like a handsome young kid. I'm telling you, it didn't look like goofy. I'm not saying I was attracted to him, but he looked like Steve Gutenberg. He almost was like, I don't want to say he could look like a leading man, but he had like a depth to his everything.
Well, he did end up having, in fact, a huge fucking movie career. It just sort of had
But after Diner,
burned out.
After Diner, what happened?
After Diner, he had Cocoon, he had Police Academy, he had Three Men and a Baby. He had like a bunch of big movies.
Yeah, but what was he good in? Cocoon was he probably
good
good
in Cocoon, yeah. And then,
And Diner he was great in.
I think Short Circuit was him.
All right, you're starting to...
I might be wrong about that one.
But how young was this kid? Was this 1978?
I think so, yeah.
And I realized then I probably wouldn't have seen a lot of movies because that's the year I graduated college and drove out to California.
Right.
So I probably missed movies.
Okay.
And I was in the gas crisis too. So I experienced the gas crisis. Oh God, I don't know what I'm talking about.
How did that enter into you not watching movies?
Didn't this movie deal with the? Am I mixing up two movies now?
I don't know. What the hell are you talking about?
What were we watching? Oh, I just was watching a documentary on CNN about Saudi Arabia.
Oh my God.
I didn't mix up the facts of the movie, but there's something about that movie where they start digging for oil and they mess everything up over there. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
I mean, they go over there. They didn't do a good job. It was Saudi. I mean, the kingdom.
You're seriously talking about the CNN documentary now?
No, because obviously I'm not even getting to that level with it. I'm describing it.
All right. Well, I'm ready to take a break.
All right.
So, Boys from Brazil is a good shitty movie.
Well, first of all,
and the other thing I have to say, the one scene that actually brought something to the table for me that it was unlike other scenes was the big fight scene at the end between Laurence Olivier and Gregory Peck.
Look,
because it's bitey, scratchy.
Oh, yes. That was
it's
great.
Like a realistic. I mean, and part of it was because I think Laurence Olivier was sick at the time, so they had to.
Oh, was he not?
They couldn't fly him around the room a bunch.
Did he die around then, or
no? But he had apparently had some operation right before this, but
it was kind of cool.
So yeah, so even though it was not let's just say an expensive scene,
right?
The final stuff, the final showdown and those scenes is a pretty interesting series of events.
Yeah, and I thought, but the thing was when they're doing like stuff with action cut. I mean, they thought they were making a more. Oh, this is what I meant to say before that I forgot. The fact that they tried to create this psychological profile, like they were trying to, you do this, you have a father who's 20 years older, you hold him out in the rain, for 7 years, and voila, there's your Adolf Hitler.
Right. Well, that's why he was trying to do it with 98 of them. He was thinking, if I did it with 98, I'll get one Hitler, I think was his.
And then that whole cloning. And then when they start on things like, they could fool me because I don't know any of the real facts.
Well, but I have to say that for a sci-fi movie like that, for a B movie, the science was closer to reality than most. It wasn't just like, we put it here in the bleep blorp bleep machine and it comes out into the egg, you know, like they do in so many. Well, they did in the Anderson tapes with the computers.
But and also this movie you could say was prescient in a way. It was predicting what could happen in the future.
Yeah, certainly it had.
So you could say that movie was visionary.
It was speculative fiction.
Were movies going bad in the late 70s and then they picked up again with like the indie movies? But like when did the 60s, 70s, Five Easy Pieces, all that stuff?
You know, what changed it was Jaws and Star Wars.
Right. I just realized that.
That changed the business model a little bit.
Yeah. And then late 80s, when was
the 90s was when the real indie boom started.
And now on TV is the mirror of the indie boom with like Breaking Bad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't either been ejected from here, took a break. I'm ready for a break. What are we doing this week?
I don't know. Let's play a song by Allison.
Oh.
In fact, let's play a song we've played before.
Hey.
What the hell? Radio stations do that.
Oh my God. This is... I don't know if it's good that you're starting to adapt
I don't want to dig for one. I just want to play a nice little song.
If you're adapting my lifestyle excuses, that's scary. Well, we'll be right. I want to take us into break because we'll be right back after this. Josh, anything that we need to know about the song?
Let's do that. The pretty one, Hidden by Years.
You don't think I want to hear that again? I do.
I know you do.
Why do I phrase things negatively?
And if you want to buy it, it's available at AllisonMcLeod.bandcamp.com.
Very good.
Dreams, sweet dreams, don't look for tomorrow's troubles tonight. Take it slow. Time slips away when you hold it too tight. Ooh, louder than thunder, a voice in my heart tells me there's nothing to fear. All of the answers here in the dark will appear. They're just hidden by years. All things come in time. The answers are here. They're just hidden by years. Life goes on. We'll put the pieces together again. I'll be here to follow this road wherever it ends. All of the shadows run from the light, gone like yesterday's tears. One by one, the treasures appear. Ooh, they're just hidden by years. All things come in time. The answers are here. They're just hidden by years. like a river, run like a child. Tomorrow's a long way from here. One by one, your dreams will appear. Ooh, just hidden by years. All things come in time. The answers are here. They're just hidden by years. Ooh, your dreams will appear. All things come in time. The answers are here. They're just hidden by years.
Thanks, honey. That was a great song. All right. So we're back.
I love her. I love her.
As do
First
I.
of all, do you mind if I start calling Allison your better half? Your better half?
If you could pull it off, sure.
Oh God, that was my new character.
If you could
I'm
not
working
throw
on.
open your mouth, then yes.
Oh Jesus, I'm working on a new character. It's like a Rob Morrow Fleischman from Northern Exposure, kind of a bumbling.
Well, at least it would be likable.
Oh my God, I haven't seen this. I mean, you go after me, but this time you got the daggers out.
You want to do some questions?
I do, but I'm very hot. I just realized.
Okay, well.
Why am I so hot? Why am I wearing a sweatshirt in town?
I don't know.
Today, for those of people who don't live in Southern California, I just want to say that today, I believe, and not in podcast world, but in real life, today marked a change. I feel like it's going to be spring, and I hate it. I love the cold L.A., what the L.A. calls cold.
Right.
I don't need it. I don't need the heat. It's going to be a nightmare. It could be 75 soon.
Might be 65 degrees here in Southern California.
Hey, that brings. Have you heard me do my DJ guy?
No, I haven't heard
Okay.
it. You should develop it.
Okay.
James Curl says, Josh, I'm like you in that I have a last name people often mispronounce. The E is silent in my case. Have you found a way to correct folks when they say your name wrong that doesn't make you feel like you're being a petty dick? Do you let it slide most times? Well, pre-Harvey Weinstein, I let it slide a lot.
Right.
Now it bugs me a little more because there's always this little extra, are you? Yeah.
Especially when they go, are you the same person who committed those horrible crimes?
But 95% of people go Weinstein when they see my name, and I don't quite understand it. That's why it bothers me is I don't understand when you read the name with the same EI in both halves of the name and choose differently.
Well, how did it happen? I mean, maybe that's the way it is, though.
But it's not without. No one calls him Albert Einstein.
That's true. That's a good point. Okay, so you're saying the default should be Weinstein.
Yes.
Right. Especially with that Weinstein running around.
I know, exactly. At least Louis C.K. had the decency to make up a fake last name so
Right.
no one else had to go down with him.
You see? If you're going to act atrociously like Louis C.K., one way you could do it is to make a fake last name.
Exactly.
So that then he could come, like if he came back
I'm
now.
Johnny Gaboing Gaboing.
If he came back now as Louis Seckle-Zickly,
Right, whatever.
then he would be able to talk about what's up with these freeways
Right.
and ignore the whole thing.
So I don't. I started talking about it on stage, especially when MCs mispronounce it. So, but
It's never not annoying when people don't mispronounce your name.
well, I don't want to. I want to not care, but it's still my name, you know.
It's true, and I always notice when I meet somebody from
And it bothers me when someone's introducing me in a showbiz context because at that point it's like we're all professionals here, right?
Right.
You couldn't take the beat and learn it.
Josh Elvis Wine. Josh Elvis Weinstein. You've never gotten Weinstein.
I have. That was one of the Todd Glass passive-aggressive ones I talked about last week.
Weinstein?
Yes.
You talked about it on the show?
Yes.
Where was I?
Doesn't matter.
All right.
You were on break.
Emotionally.
Yeah, always.
Well, but now Rosenstein, he says he's okay with it being both ways. But who cares with him necessarily? I think he did a great job.
Like I said, I was kind of fine with it, and then the name became
in general
a bigger name, and then I kind of didn't want to be associated with it.
Kindler, I have to say, is a good name to have in general. Doesn't sound weird. I mean, who knows? It doesn't sound weird to me. It just sounds like a name. Or
yeah.
Why do I find the need to be celebrating that my name is not something like Schmidakowitz?
Well, you still play like a Schmidakowitz.
True.
So. Joan Touze says, today is the 25th anniversary of John Candy's passing. Do either of you have any personal stories? If not, best bets. We kind of covered the John Candy thing, I guess. Also, Andy Kindler, it's the 1970s, and you've been asked by the Friars to roast a comedian. Would you do it? Who would you pick back then?
I would do it, of course. Probably Don Rickles or Don Adams.
Who would you pick? You would roast Don Rickles?
Oh, is that the question, or who would roast me?
I think it's who would you?
Everybody. I want everybody. I want Forster. I wonder what it'd be like if Forster Brooks were to roast me back then. He was in his prime.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Who's the Jew?"
I just want to say, that's an interesting variation on their theme.
Thank you.
Yeah, but definitely Rusty, Red Buttons, all those guys.
Rusty Buttons?
No, I meant Red Buttons.
But who would you roast?
Oh, I thought you were doing...
Who would you choose to roast?
Oh, Don Rickles. I think it would be Don Rickles. I don't know why I'm saying
him,
that.
He would be the guest of honor.
No, I'm not good with questions.
You really want to go up against Rickles?
Oh, that's right. So maybe I would roast Stephen Wright. I don't understand the question.
Okay.
Who would you roast?
I would go with Jimmy J.J. Walker.
That would be pretty good. Okay, now I think I got the spirit of it.
All right.
I'll go with Nipsey Russell then.
Okay, sure. Steal my thunder. Don McCoy says, if you could get away with it, what nonviolent crime would you like to commit? We got a lot of hypotheticals tonight. Mine is stealing a cop car. They leave the engine running like they want me to take it.
Well, I would want to rob a bank or something like that. Wouldn't I?
Well, as long as you did it nonviolently, it would qualify.
I don't know. I'm scared already. It's hard to ask someone with OCD about these type of things.
About crimes.
Yeah, because they think they're going to get, nothing. Everything sounds like a bad thing. Like just admitting it sounds like I'm in trouble.
Well, yeah, but the whole premise of the question is if you could get away with it.
Well, I would like dancing crazy in public.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen you commit that crime.
I'd like to be maybe robbing a cash register. Is mugging an old lady wrong? If I have to mug an old lady, is that? Oh, that's not nonviolent.
No, it's not. That's violent.
Mugging an old lady. I think I would like. You know what? I love that movie. You Can Count on Me. Oh, and that's not the right movie. It's the one where Leonardo DiCaprio is a forger.
Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, I'd like to be that kind of guy.
Okay.
Like pretend to be a pilot.
Yeah.
Or to be funny.
I'd probably just go with tax evasion.
What's the thrill of it, though?
Never having to do my taxes.
That's true. Tax evasion.
Tweepahara says, I vote yes on mixing in stand-up with the music for the breaks. Good music, good comedy. Andy's OCD chunk was so great, I stopped repeatedly washing my hands to listen to it again.
I want that on the back of the album.
There you go.
I like that recommendation. I think we should have, we should open it up, too. We could have show and tell. We could have cooking segments. We could have something else that's funny.
Stephen Elton Yates says, fellas, we're at a classic steakhouse in New York City. I'm buying. What's your order? How would you like it cooked?
Oh, man. I think I go with a ribeye. Do I go with a ribeye? Or is that
It's
medium rare?
Medium rare ribeye is your order? Okay. What are your sides?
You know what? It's different now at places.
What are your sides?
Oh. I like a baked potato.
Yeah.
And I like, I don't know. What's the other side? Corn? No. I can't think. Mushrooms.
Okay. Nice. Well, it's in New York City. I might go to Peter Luger's. Then you get the whole platter cut up like that. I like.
I've never been there.
I like a bone in New York. I like it. I like medium rare plus is kind of how I often order it.
So a little bit less red.
I just like the heat. I like it hot all the way through, but I don't like it. You know, I like it. I still like some deep,
blood,
some deep pink.
Oh, but you don't like it.
I generally order medium to be safe.
Well, that means it's all right. Yeah, but it's changing where medium is more medium rare these days. Sometimes.
That's why I do it.
Got it.
If it's a steakhouse that I feel like can understand the medium rare plus concept, I go there. If not, I go medium.
I don't go to steakhouses that much, but I'm willing to go.
I like them a lot. I'll probably go in Chicago this week.
Wait, I'm going to be in
week.
Chicago. Oh.
Wait
a second. Wait, are you going away this weekend too?
No, I'm talking to people who are listening to the podcast.
Have you already been to Chicago with Gruber?
No, that's this weekend.
Why do you have a different DJ voice almost? That's this weekend. If you're in the Chicago area and you want to see some comedy, come out to the North Bar. At North Bar, and I'll be there with Gruber, Steve Banos. No. I blew it.
Frank Conniff, Trace Beaulieu.
Oh, that's good. Frank Conniff.
Saturday the 16th at 9 p.m.
Frank Conniff, I love when he slammed people I can't stand in his tweets.
So I like also Steakhouse, going back to that so we can get through this. Cream spinach and some hash browns with onions.
Oh.
Well done.
Wait, you mean like the jerky onions in there? No, hash browns.
No, hash browns with onions.
Wow. Ooh. You know what I don't like? Here's the thing. What I don't like, and I'm bringing it up, it's not a big deal, but I'm kind of burnt out on broccoli, asparagus.
Yeah.
And I don't know where to go. I don't like root vegetables. But how do you mix it up?
Brussels sprouts, roasted?
I do like that, and Susan loves that. So that's a choice. And that's it?
It's easy.
But you know, why do we get tired of broccoli? For a while, I thought broccolini was my answer.
Have you tried roasting the broccoli? It gives it a nice spin.
Okay, I will try doing that.
Spray it with some olive oil, hot oven, 15 minutes.
And then boom.
Gives it some nice little crispy edges and stuff.
Okay. I think we've tried roasting it before, and then we just gave up on it.
Buy a bag of mixed cauliflower and broccoli. Do that.
All right.
It's good.
Hey, you know what? I'll let you know how it went.
Super fast, super easy. Okay, so this week I also got a shit ton of My Pillow Guy tweets forwarded to me and retweeted my way because he was in the news a couple times.
Yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to
I'm very while it does get a little old, I have to say I'm very proud that people associate my scorn with Mike Lindell.
I see him. When I think of him, I see you.
That's good. I like that.
What did he do?
Well, he spoke at CPAC, and, Trump was sent by God.
Oh.
The best president we've ever had. He was sent by God. And then there was a news story where someone called the police because they saw someone standing outside in the freezing cold without a coat holding a pillow, and it was a cardboard cutout of him.
Oh, I did see that.
Yes.
That's a pretty good story.
Yeah.
Why is he alienating? Like I'm right on the verge.
I did a little Mike Lindell stuff in Minnesota this week, and it's back.
It's back, baby.
It's back.
Well, it's all a matter of you get bored with things and you bring it back.
All right.
That guy is alienating all of his liberal purchasers. I'm not going to buy it now, the My Pillow.
Yeah, you were going to, though.
I'm telling you, I think he's going to hurt his business. I think if you back Trump, you're backing the wrong Nazi. He's going to lose from this.
I hope so. But he's been backing Trump pretty vocally for a while, and it doesn't seem...
I mean, he makes a nice...
I keep expanding my line. Now I do sheets.
Does he do the sheets that are spelled TZ?
No.
Because that's a whole thing too. It's cotton from some land, cotton land.
Yeah, cotton land. That's it.
Yeah, Cheech.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong now? I'll be back with what is wrong with this man.
I didn't even give you a look.
I know.
I just took a breath.
I'm internalizing. Literally, that's the thought at my age I had as a grown man. What did I do wrong now?
Wow. Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Hey, Yamamoto. Andy, Donald Trump has done incredible damage to our borough of birth. How does Queens rehabilitate its image? I guess kicking Amazon out is a start.
I guess that does restore order a little bit. I just think that he hasn't poisoned Queens so much as ruined the entire planet. I think
fair enough.
Queens will get back to... It's not that Queens was ever like, hey, huh? I'm not bragging, I'm just stating it. It was never as cool as Brooklyn. And I don't think it was as cool as the Bronx. It's getting cooler now. If, like art-wise and culturally, and then Flushing as the greatest food. Eventually, he will leave.
Queens is getting totally can't afford Brooklyn right now.
Yes. But it's weird because I kind of pride myself on that, not pride myself, but I find schlocky, I don't know how you, guys like him from Queens.
Yeah.
Like, we used to think they were like a pleasant thing to make fun of guys like him, but there's nothing pleasant about him.
No.
He's in your face, stupid.
He's transcended two-dimensional caricatures.
Oh, Russia, please, get me the email.
Yoshi also has to say, I think Josh Twitter shamed Andy into not talking about the shout-out he got from Chelsea Peretti at the WGAs. No mention on the podcast?
I'm very embarrassed about this. I haven't seen... I saw half the speech. I haven't seen where she shouted out to me. Did you see where she shouted out?
I think it was just like she did something Jewy. Now I'm Andy Kindler.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel embarrassed I didn't actually watch it. I'm thrilled about it.
It wasn't so much a shout-out as a...
I think I love her. So now all I'm focusing on is that I should have been more thankful.
I'm not sure how I factored into Twitter shaming you on all this, but if I...
that I was afraid to... Yeah, because if I don't comment about something, I think people are always like, is he cured or did he pass out at home? Andy hasn't talked about Ricky Gervais. All right, is he healthy or is he dead?
Well, if I did Twitter shame you, I don't feel bad about it, I guess.
It can't hurt.
No.
Taking me down a peg is never bad.
Mark Thompson, son of a Tomp.
Hi, Mark.
Not my Mark Thompson, but he's the Mark Thompson who asks us questions.
Oh, wait a second.
Not the podcast Mark Thompson.
Not the podcast Mark. Hi, Mark.
What are the strategies for handling the paparazzi that I assume constantly hound you? I tip well.
I've only a couple of times been approached by the TMZ guys because they just like one time it was a comic, and so it was only accidental. I've never, thank God, I've never had to deal with anything like that because I don't think how could it be good.
Yeah.
If you really had to deal with it, what's the upside?
No, there's no upside that I can see. I've never had any paparazzi issues, but when I first started going to movie premieres occasionally, back when there was film, I would notice them reloading their film when I would come down the carpet.
Oh, why I've had embarrassing. I've had nothing but embarrassing experiences. First of all, I don't think anybody ever looks good, and everybody basically does the same thing. But nobody really looks good when they look at different areas, make a face, like either posing. It never looks good. It looks like everyone's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I feel that going in before. It's like when I was in bands, I didn't do huge Pete Townsend moves or
windmills.
Windmills, right? I was always self-conscious of how I looked. So many people, when they're in those things,
Yeah.
they don't look self-conscious. They look like they're beautiful actors.
Right.
And
Actors. They're actors.
I do say actors.
Yeah. I'm just saying they are.
They are like Scarlett Johansson.
Right,
Well,
but
she can't look bad.
Right, but they're acting.
But what's the
They're
point
acting like people who belong on a red carpet.
I think, I got that I hurt my neck, so I think you got in there.
Okay.
I think I registered what was wrong. I don't feel like I'm worth anything. And I think I think if you really felt like the paparazzi was going to validate you,
Yeah.
you'd be in bad trouble already.
But there's plenty of people who do feel that way, but
that would be, I mean, not that anyone's offering, but I would never want to be like a YouTube hit for that reason. Because
no, but I just mean, there's plenty of celebrities who are able to not get hit by paparazzi very often because they don't go places where they know they'll be.
Oh yeah, they're not. That's not. Yeah.
I mean, there is some intentionality to being caught by paparazzi for a lot of celebrities.
Yes. I don't know what Alec. Well, what's his name? Alec Baldwin's not looking for trouble, but he's looking for if there's going to be something unpleasant. He wants it to be him punching someone in the face or something like that.
Right. Yes.
He is a classic bully, I think. I know I'm not a genius for coming up with that, but I can't imagine the energy. The energy involved in that is pretty intense.
Yeah, but some people get energized by conflict.
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think, well, so do I, though, but not that kind of conflict.
Well, then you don't get energized in a good way.
Right.
No one feels good when you get energized by conflict.
In general.
Least of all you, but certainly others too.
Right, but in the last couple of years, I've come to the realization that the people who are like, you want to start with me? There's only 1/10 of 1% of anybody in this universe who can take that attitude and make it work. Because ultimately, I don't think that's going to work. I think it's not going to work for Trump, even in Trump, who does that all the time. Kick your ass. In general, when you put yourself in that mode, you better be Muhammad Ali or similar.
Yeah.
Because there is always going to be someone who really is tough. So whenever I imagine myself pretending to be tough, I think it's never been a good way to go.
Well, but you have this underlying fear of physical harm.
I do. I was born 11 years after the Holocaust, too, or 11 years. Yeah, maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But I kind of can't blame it on that completely.
Your genetic memory.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't know about you, but I didn't like what you didn't have to do. But being born in the shadow of World War II,
yeah,
not as much fun as you would think.
Yeah, probably more fun than if you were born in the shadow of a war where it was actually taking place.
No, what you're saying is absolutely right. In fact, I thought it was going to be, thank you, I missed it all, and in a certain way, I've been we've been very lucky. Us people who haven't had war.
How much
here.
did you think about the World War II when you were growing up?
No, not. No, I would be lying if I said I thought about it. But having had those weird experiences with the.
But if you grew up in London, you fucking thought about it because you were living among bombed out buildings for your childhood.
Right. Well, I thought about that only through the Sunday school showing us Holocaust bones and things like that were just disturbing. Things.
But they showed me that too.
Did you find that disturbing?
No, I enjoyed the hell of it. Of course I found it disturbing.
You idiot. No, but duck and cover those days.
Yeah, we didn't have run, duck, and cover.
It did make me think about definitely I think if you go up and,
we had it almost just sort of, it was a given we were going to have a nuclear war. It wasn't even if it happened. It was just sort of, there was definitely a sort of nihilism by the Reagan era.
Well, I think it's hard to, and sometimes you think you wake up and you feel as if, how can you wake up at all and feel not worried? But I've challenged myself to go through that in a way, things I can't control.
Yeah.
Because I notice when I get on a plane and things, it's like, I do notice that the level where you're really so worried that you feel sick to your stomach, like many of us have felt the last couple of years.
Right.
It's not a healthy feeling.
So do you find when you get on a plane as a passenger, obviously as opposed to the pilot, like Allison, she relaxes when she gets on a plane because if something happens, it's not going to be her fault.
Yeah, that's the way I am.
Do you have that?
Yeah. And Susan is more nervous. She doesn't like.
Right. She doesn't like the loss of control. You're okay with it. You kind of crave it.
Right. And it's easy for me to convince myself to get into it's going to be nothing.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm with someone who's scared, then you get to play the guy who's not scared.
Right.
But I've never been on a thing where the plane dropped 75,000 feet and the soup hit your nose, and I've never had turbulence that bad. I've had turbulence bad enough where I wouldn't want it twice as bad as that.
Right.
How about you?
I've had some very bad turbulence, but I always had sort of faith in the engineering that they factored in this much turbulence when building the plane, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's no question when I'm on a plane because I can OCD anything. The thought occurs to me, you should be terrified. You know, the world is hanging on by a string. But that reality, it does seem like we're the only generation that's been like that, like technically, from when I've been born or before I've been born, nuclear, as soon as they had nuclear weapons.
Right.
That's the first time. But I don't know, in the 1500s, I don't think that it comforted them to know, well, at least we're not going to die in a nuclear thing. They probably thought it was the end of their world. I don't know. Has it always felt like it was the end of the world?
There was always someone preaching that it was coming.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, I think, yeah. I mean, I think the basic condition of life is crisis to crisis.
Right. Unless you can learn to be mindfully calm.
Through crises. The crises still happen.
Right.
It's just a question of how you react to them.
Yeah, that's right.
You
So
know?
that's the thing. I mean, I don't want to be a yogi, but I'll certainly take the title.
Rad Dude Kyle says, what do you guys think about the show Crashing? It would be hilarious for Andy to be one of Pete's comic adventure buddies. I would pull some strings for you if I could, dudes.
I guess I have, I have mixed feelings about that show. I want to lie. I watched the first season of it.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm a little burnt out in general on he's a comic. Mm-hmm. Maybe could be bitterness that's what I always wanted to pitch. But if I was going to pitch me as a comic, it wouldn't be. His struggles are different than I can relate. Sometimes I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Right.
But when I did watch it, I loved the first year, but then I got bored with it.
Right. After Madison left the show.
Right.
No, you were on Marin anyway. You already did your comic sidekick role.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like I can retire in that. I'm ready to let people go. I'm ready to go again, baby.
I'm just saying you haven't been completely overlooked by the genre.
I could be Marin's retired friend in the next.
The reboot. I don't know. It's okay. I just don't care about the story of comics that much. I mean, I watch it. I've watched many of them. I don't watch it religiously, but as I've said many times on the show, whenever it's a showbiz story, I'm never really rooting for the character.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I'll tell you one thing: if you ever had to go in meetings and people would say to you, "Andy, you do this thing in Montreal where you're angry. Where you see a scenario that would work, like at an office maybe, or you run a bowling alley." And so it always appealed to me to not be, like, if you're going to make a show, to not have a facade,
Yeah.
But there's been so many shows about stand-up comics that I don't know. Maybe it's time to put it to bed.
Well, it's not. Showbiz isn't a good story generator for the most part.
It was with Dick Van Dyke and all those shows, but maybe those are the
but how many of those stories were actually generated out of show business?
Right. A lot, right?
Not really.
Oh. Oh, they're generated from where?
They were generated from home life and conflict and conflict that characters were having outside the office mostly, Once in a while there'd be a story about the guest star that week or something, but the fact that they worked at the show was incidental to the storylines most of the time.
Right.
You know. Seth Dick III says Peter Allen was magnificent. Any stories about him?
I know he was supposed to be a very great performer and very funny. I have no memory of him. Do you remember Graham Kerr, the Galloping Gourmet?
I don't remember. I always remember there being the phrase "the Galloping Gourmet"
He was
around.
great. He was like,
but I never saw him. I've seen clips since, but he wasn't part of other than the name, the Galloping Gourmet.
I think of Peter Allen like that, and there's no reason to.
Yeah,
but funny. But maybe he wasn't that funny, and maybe he wasn't even that good of a singer. I think he's this. Who's saying this? Seth Dick III?
Yeah,
saying that he was great.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some footage. I'm ready.
Well, type something in.
I like 2 first name acts in general. Peter Allen.
Andy Kindler. Jay Quinn says, did you all know C.J. Wallace started the main P.T. Anderson fan news site years ago?
Only from him I know it.
Are dailies, etc. reminiscent at all of cinematography-wise? I can picture beautiful horse tracking shots. Any PTA in your future homework? Love the show. P.S. Great to hear Andy with Sam Sater.
Well, that's very nice. I like that entire thing, and I think we should do at one point a PT. Is there one of those that we both haven't seen?
I hope not.
Oh, you don't want? You're done with him?
I'm done with him. I don't want to. I'm not diving.
Master and Commander. No, that's not him.
Not him at all. No.
Master. There will be masters.
The Master. I don't want to watch that. And I liked Boogie Nights, and then I liked things progressively less and less after that.
Do you have any ideas of what we're going to watch or do next week?
No, but now that you bring it up, I'll think about it.
I still want a real. I almost hunger for a real Nazi pot boiler.
Like what?
Like the movie I thought this was going to be.
Yeah.
The Nazis. I thought there was a movie where they're listening to Nazis in Brazil, or I think Argentina. And I think I'm mixing it up. I'm mixing up the conversation with, and maybe there was never a movie like the one I'm thinking
Right.
about.
The conversation had no Nazis. We watched it.
Right. So I think
stop thinking that the conversation is Nazis.
There was never a movie made like I want there to be.
There might be, but so far you're not producing good evidence.
Did you ever see the movie Z?
No.
Okay, it's in Greek, I think.
Okay, well.
Zorba the Greek?
Saw that. Mad City Architect says, just started watching the show John Glazer Loves Gear on True TV. I find it very original and creative comedically. Have you seen?
I love him, so.
Love to get your comedy insights.
He's very funny, but I don't know all his stuff.
Yeah.
You know him at all,
I
John
don't.
Glazer?
I don't.
He's done a lot of interesting shows, and he's very funny. So I'll check it out.
Greg Kelly says, if Bob Geldof knew about Thought Spiral 40 years ago, do you think he would have written I Don't Like Mondays?
Wait a second now. Is that a Boomtown? That's the Boomtown Rat song?
Yes.
And it's based on a mass shooting?
Yes.
Is it based on Columbine?
No. Way before that.
Is this a fun game? Because this is like the most game show I've ever played.
Yeah.
Is it...
There was a girl who shot up, who did some shooting up, and when asked why, she said, I don't like Monday.
This is a woman was... I didn't even know there was a woman who shot up people.
Yeah.
And then later on, that's the only Boomtown Rat song I can think of. And I don't love the name Boomtown Rats.
No.
No, I don't like it. Do you?
Yeah.
How about the Varsity? The Varsity Woodchucks. I think I've told you off.
Wow. That was...
Sorry, Josh. You just got Kindler.
That was James Adomian yourself.
You just got Kindler.
How about the Varsity Woodchucks, huh?
How does it feel to get Kindler?
How did you get to Varsity from Boomtown, by the way, as a...
Boomtown Rats. I was thinking of it like I don't know. It must have been my own collegiate. I thought of it collegiately. Boomtown Rats sounded like a college thing to me. So then that made me go for the Varsity.
Okay. Rightio. Best John Candy film, asked Mark, Mad City Architect.
I'm not as familiar with them. What's the best one?
The truly best John Candy film is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, I love that
I think
movie.
without question.
Yeah.
But he was Stripes was a standout performance where he was hilarious in every scene, and
that was there's a good ensemble movie.
He had great other moments. He was great in Splash too, in terms of a mainstream movie. But Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was the best nose to tail film.
I loved him as William B. Williams, who was Sammy Maudlin's sidekick.
Oh, right. Barry Golob, my dear friend Barry Golob, who I did stand up with the first time ever.
Have you been speaking to him recently, or this is the first time?
I saw him last week in Minneapolis.
Oh.
I don't know if Andy has a title for his soon-to-be-released album, but I feel like Stream of Self-Consciousness, a phrase you guys just blew past last episode, is a very strong contender.
Well, I have actually used it before, I think.
Yeah.
Stream of Self-Consciousness.
So
or maybe you've used it before, too.
Well, he's saying if you've used it, then it'd be a good album cover.
I will keep that in mind because I know where the name is of the one. You know the name, right?
Yeah, you told me.
Hence the humor.
Really rolls off the.
I like Stream of Self-Consciousness, though. But I'm a little self-conscious about it. Oh.
Alex says, Roger Federer just won his 100th title. Who would you say is the comedy equivalent to the Swiss Maestro?
I would... Oh, my God. That is a very strange... I don't think there's any analogy to Roger Federer. Brian Regan, Jim I don't know what that... I mean,
wow, I just shuddered at those.
Well,
let's put it this way. Who's the best tennis player ever?
Roger Federer.
Okay.
Richard Pryor.
Okay.
Yeah,
now we're talking.
Yeah, but the thing
That's
about
better than Jim Gaffigan and fucking Brian Regan.
No, but the thing is, I thought about it differently. I thought about it in terms of not only is Roger Federer the greatest player of all time, but
he's
he
really
also
nice.
What's that?
He's really nice.
He's really nice, and he's dominated for so long. So I was thinking about somebody like Attell, or so. I was thinking about it differently than thinking about. I guess I went off on the analogy.
Best ever is really the question, I think.
Pryor.
Okay. I can't argue Pryor. I really can't. I might have been more...
Hicks.
Nah, I don't think so.
I think as soon as you get into the best ever, it automatically something wrong happens.
Yeah. Not to say Hicks wasn't brilliant, but I can't say that he was better than Pryor.
No. In the same category.
Yeah.
Is what I would say. But it's too difficult. This brings up a lot of issues for me.
Yeah.
But can you think of another name that we're missing? There's got to be more names. I don't consider Bill Cosby, even without all this stuff, because I didn't think of him as a kind of a stand-up like you did, kind of, right? Or
yeah, I think he was, 5 years ago. Well, 10 years ago, I might have said him. But I did, I did tire of his sanctimony over the years, but I did, I don't know. I mean, I think about best hours, and
Hedberg.
I think, there's some comics like Hedberg. I think Louis Anderson, even his first best hour was among the great hours. I think Chris Rock's Bring the Pain was among the great hours.
Roseanne's, I don't know if she did an hour, but her initial stand-up was fantastic.
Her initial, but it was
shorter.
It was, there was something sort of vaudevillian about it too. It was such a character that, it was funny and new, I think, at the time. But if you were to revisit it, it wouldn't hold up the same way people's great hours hold up.
It's so hard to think. I don't know why my mind goes blank whenever anybody asks me names.
Yeah.
You got anybody else?
No, we talked about that last week too. So,
do you have any other names though? We're good. How come we're not? I know we're missing people.
I wasn't looking for more names. I think we covered the topic.
Why do I think it's a contest?
He didn't ask for a list. He asked for the best.
I feel like I should have more than one name.
Larry Harold says, politics are crazy. Am I right? What was the first vote for president you cast? Mine was Clinton's first term, 92.
I think I must have voted for Jimmy Carter. And
in 76 or 80?
76. Because I'm 18 years old. I was 18 years old in 1974. So it must have been Jimmy Carter. I remember voting for Jimmy Carter the second time and losing.
Yeah.
I remember voting for Mondale, maybe.
Good for you.
Dukakis.
Sure.
Clinton.
Sure.
Gore.
Yeah.
Kerry.
Yeah.
Barack Hussein Obama. And Donald Trump.
Tom Brazil says, thoughts on Reggie Watts. When I first started listening, I thought he and Josh had very similar speaking voices. Love the show. Your version of Two Aging Jews is much funnier than Oh Hello.
No, Oh Hello is very funny.
Yeah, it's
It's
okay.
crawling. What was the other question? About
Reggie Watts.
Reggie Watts was on the show I was hosting in Vancouver, and he was very, very funny. I've always liked him. I mean, he's very hit and miss.
Yeah.
But I've always liked him. I guess that's all. And I like the music stuff. So I just don't know as much about the music stuff, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, it's something different. It's something he's like a fully committed performer, you know. So he's capable of genius moments and he's capable of misses, like you said. But he is he's certainly like an inventive and
I admire that style.
Original voice.
Yeah, I admire that style. His style reminds me of like Jen, and the person who does as the best of those kind of people would be like maybe Marilyn Rice. Oh, Marilyn Rice Cub in the old days.
Yeah.
And Jen Kirkman. Jen Kirkman, it's like maybe she's my favorite comic in terms of she just is always starting. It's always like a new thing every time she goes out.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I got here. But this Marilyn Rice Cup was like that too, where it seemed like you didn't know where she was going every week.
Right.
And so that makes it more exciting.
Right.
Sometimes. With me, you just don't know. Is he going to do the 4 jokes or?
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch.
Damian Ford says religion is for the sacred, redemption is for the lost, validation is for the shallow, humor is for the awakened, indicator lights are for the intelligent.
Ooh, that was an interesting thing. But I don't know what it all, what does he mean by indicator lights?
You really want me to try to unpack
I thought
this
I had
tweet?
it till then.
I don't have it.
I say I like it. I'm going to accept it like a haiku.
Graham Friday says, any chance of updating Yoshi Yamamoto's theme music with Rock Me Amadeus? Yamamoto, 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 Yamamoto.
I'll think of something this week. Yeah.
Derek Faraci says, when was the last time you had a great slice of pie?
It's been a while. I did have a good slice of lemon meringue pie, but that's the one I'm looking for, is the perfect lemon meringue pie.
Right.
What did you have? I mean, the idea of a great pie I love, but it doesn't always taste great.
No, I can't remember my last great piece of pie. It was probably cherry, though. That's where I go.
Really?
Yeah, I like cherry filling.
And where would you, is there a place that you like in town? 4 and 20?
No, I never, when it comes to sweets, I don't.
That's right.
I don't do anything regularly.
I've decided that I'm always up for cotton candy if I am going to go to an arcade or something.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
I did till I was like 6.
All right. You want to make fun of me because I'm an adolescent?
Christine says, what are you all reading right now? Have we finished the Laurel Canyon book?
Oh, God.
We're reading the book, The Kids in the Hall bio by Paul
I
Myers.
know, but just made me depressed because I read these books and they're all over the house and they're 1/4. It's like I didn't finish Laurel Canyon and I want to. But yeah, I'm reading that. Biographies. If I could focus, I would read more biographies and memoirs.
Yeah. Tweet Bahar says, Andy, if you get a dog, will you name it Schmoopy or Hoo Hoo? I guess Hoo Hoo is more of a cat's name.
I think Schmoopy is. I think it has to be something different. I think I aspire to have the names that you've used for your dogs, but I can't. There's no way to know if I can get. I'm leaning towards Fido.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Abraham Lincoln.
Why, is that the name of his dog?
I think it was, yeah.
Oh. What does it mean?
Loyal, faithful.
Oh, Fido, like from the Greek.
Guy Incognito says, it's a twofer. How about this Cohen hearing shit show? If you haven't watched AOC's line of questioning to Cohen on Trump's tax returns, it's efficient cutting through the bureaucratic bullshit 101. Also, since you're both guitar guys, Tele Standard or Fender Strat?
I love the Cohen hearings. I thought she was great with the questioning.
Yeah.
I like both a Stratocaster and a Telecaster. I would, in theory, like a Stratocaster better because it has maybe more of a versatile sound, but I can't seem to master or get even the not even. I've never felt as comfortable on the Stratocaster or the Telecaster. I don't have a Telecaster.
Yeah.
But I have a Stratocaster, and I feel like I don't play it well.
Yeah.
Or at all for the last few years.
I've had both, and I don't play either of them well. But I like Tellies better than Strats, but it's only just they're slightly cooler to me. It's not because they play better or because of anything I'm capable of doing to play them, so, to distinguish one from the other. But I think Tellies are kind of cool.
I literally haven't played one, so
no,
I'm out of the running.
Got one in the other room.
I like the sound of it.
I bought Allison a nice American Telly.
Oh, like the pre-CBS?
Huh?
Pre-CBS?
No, but you can,
I don't know what that means.
as opposed to Mexican or Japanese.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
which many are.
Yeah. You think I know that, being a Guitar Center veteran.
Mouth Almighty says, I hope the baby wasn't left in a hot car. We haven't heard it in a while. You just actually did hear it a second ago.
That hit me from nowhere.
Also, how about Hugh Hauser doing a guided meditation? Thanks for all the laughs. All right, well, we'll close the show with Hugh Hauser doing a guided meditation.
I could use it anyway. I would listen to this at home.
I want y'all to go to a very happy place. Now, that can be any place. For me, that could be a small city park. That could be a food court. For you, it may be a beach. For you, it may be an amusement park ride, but go to your happy place. It may be a small Basenji-like dog coming up to you to be petted on the head. Wherever it is, I hope you've had a beautiful time. I hope you have a calm and peaceful week. I hope everything is fantastic. Let's all take a deep breath. That's right. Let it out.
That's fantastic.
Doesn't that feel fantastic?
It feels fantastic.
Isn't that great? Did you just breathe? Isn't it great?
Oh.
All right.
Are you getting that, Joe?
Now, when you hit a calm place, I want you to send an email to thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com. You know what else is also very calming is a T-shirt.
Fantastic.
Or a mug from Zazzle.com/thought_spiral.
We just came out with our That's Fantastic shirts.
Maybe you could guide yourself to a meditative song by Allison McLeod at allisonmcleod.bandcamp.com.
You sound as comfortable doing this voice as Trump sounded doing Jeff Sessions. What?
What?